What's up everyone? Today we're going to discuss 10 reasons why bodybuilding is not healthy. Now before I get into it, this week only, two bodybuilders, well-known bodybuilders have passed away. One of the bodybuilders that passed away was Rich Piana. I did meet him. He is a great guy and he has done a lot for the fitness community. But when I met him, I could see that, he wasn't healthy, and it was kind of sad to hear the news. So rest in peace. But anyways, I think that bodybuilding is probably the most unhealthy sport in the world, especially when you're talking about professional bodybuilding. There is a huge difference between bodybuilding and resistance training, because resistance training and bodybuilding type training is one of the healthiest things that you can do, and I recommend everyone to do it, and all the doctors will say the same thing. And that is why I don't really like being called a bodybuilder, because to me bodybuilding is something completely different. It's taking your body to the next level, pushing the envelope, putting drugs into your system to reach an unnatural level. So the first reason why bodybuilding isn't healthy is the most obvious one, and that is the use of drugs. So professional bodybuilders use all kinds of different steroids, testosterone, they use growth hormone, insulin, even testosterone itself. It can be used responsibly, and it can be used right in the testosterone replacement therapy for older men with low testosterone levels. So there are uses for these drugs, but when it comes to inserting the amount of drugs that these competitive bodybuilders are putting into their bodies, it's something completely different. For example, growth hormone enlarges your organs, which is really scary to think about. Your heart just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and obviously that's not going to be good. There have been bodybuilders who have died, and they have found that their hearts are twice the size of what it used to be. Now testosterone, if you're not an older person that has low testosterone and you don't need therapy, I highly recommend staying away from it, because it can have so many different problems. You can get acne like crazy, you can break out, you can have oily skin, it can increase the speed of you going bald, you get mood swings, and worst of all, in my opinion, is that once you do steroids, you feel such a progression in the gym, and you feel so powerful that when you go off it, you don't feel motivated to lift anymore. And that has happened to so many people that I know personally, and because of that they just decide to stay on the gear for a very long time. There's so many risks, even liver damage and kidney damage. Just don't do steroids. And things like Clen, which people take to get shredded really quickly, it's a type of asthma medication that makes your metabolism work faster, and therefore you burn more calories. I know a lot of people that have tried it, and they get really shaky, and they can't sleep at night, they get irregular heartbeats, and just so many things that you don't want to get into. There is absolutely no point of risking your health and your whole life just to get a little bit bigger. You can get bigger naturally if you put in the work over years. Just be patient and don't compare yourself to these professional bodybuilders, because they are doing something completely different to what you should do. Another reason that bodybuilding is unhealthy, and this goes for professional bodybuilders and just natural bodybuilders, that is consuming a high protein diet. I have seen so many people, unfortunately, people consuming like 300 grams of protein, 250 grams of protein, even 400 grams of protein, and that is just insane. That is way too much. That is way more than your body can handle. Massive professional bodybuilders are upping their protein intake to insane levels, and when you take steroids, protein synthesis in your body is even more efficient, which means they can get away with even less protein. So I don't know why they are increasing the protein amounts by that much. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of people don't base anything on science. They just do whatever they feel like doing or what they were told by their friends. I think the main side effect that we know about at the moment is kidney damage. If you overdo it on protein, you will eventually develop some sort of kidney damage, because the kidneys are working overtime and working extremely hard to get rid of the excess waste from the protein metabolism. So loads of the protein that you're intaking is definitely not going to go right to your muscles. If that were the case, then people like me who eat way less protein, like 150 to 180 grams per day, wouldn't be able to build muscle efficiently. Just remember that we only need about 60 grams of protein per day. Some people even less, some people a tiny bit more. If you're an athlete training really hard, or if you're a bodybuilder, of course your requirements will go up. But do you think it'll go up by 10 times? My final thought on protein is that a lot of bodybuilders also recommend red meats and meats really high in saturated fats and cholesterol. And obviously, I can't believe I'm still saying this, but you know, there are so many studies proving that that is just not good for you. Red meat does promote inflammation, it does promote the growth of cancer, it does increase your IGF-1 levels, which, you know, promotes cancer growth as well. So be careful of where the protein is coming from. If you're gonna eat meat, go for meats that are not packed in hormones. That is also another thing. So really be aware of the micronutrients and the other toxins and everything that is inside the protein that you're taking, because it's not all about macronutrients. It's about all the things that are attached to the macronutrients. And that is why I strongly recommend everyone, and more and more people are recommending this as more research is coming out, to increase your protein intake from plant sources like beans, lentils, chickpeas, oatmeal, that kind of stuff. Next one is going to be, you can end up developing anorexia. Women especially are more at risk for this, and for men it's the opposite. It's bigorexia, or muscle dysmorphia, I think it's called, where you are constantly obsessed of getting bigger and bigger, and you see yourself in the mirror and you're dissatisfied because of how small you look. Being aware of how your body looks is a good thing as long as you don't let it take over your life. And that brings me to the next point. So a lot of bodybuilders and people who are really into fitness are all about controlling every aspect of their diet and training regimen, and it just gets to a point where it's overwhelming and it takes control over your life. People who are dieting down for a show for 15 weeks, you know, they are putting themselves in a really unhealthy state, restricting their calories so much, increasing their protein intake, and just not getting enough micronutrients into their body to be healthy. And when you restrict that much for 15 weeks, obviously your mood is going to be horrible, and that will affect other areas in your life. And not only that, but imagine doing 15 weeks of preparation to go for a competition, and then you don't even place, or you get, you know, last place. And when you see that all the work that you put in wasn't enough and you did your very best, then obviously, you know, you are more likely to take the other routes, like, you know, drug usage. And the last point that I wanted to touch on is social life. So if you're really strict on your diet and training, it's going to take a toll on your social life, because, you know, if you're tracking your macros perfectly and you have to hit a certain number every single day, you're going to say no to every opportunity you have to, you know, go to a party or go to a restaurant or whatever. Even if it's a healthy restaurant, you can't go there because there is no way to track your macros. So if you let it go to that point, you know, it's going to affect you in several ways. Obviously, you can get friends who are into the same things, but it's still hard to, you know, go out and enjoy yourself with family and friends when you have to be that strict. That doesn't mean that you go out and eat hamburgers, but please don't make tracking calories your life, because we are social animals. Human beings are meant to be connected to other people, and if you're not doing that, you will not feel fulfilled. So please go socialize. Don't let tracking macros take over. I hope you guys, you know, understand where I'm coming from in terms of bodybuilding not being healthy. It is healthy if you do it right. It is healthy to do resistance training. Anyways, let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section below. Leave a like, share with your friends. That's the most important thing. If you think you get value from these videos and you think others can too, make sure to share with someone and get them to subscribe to the channel too. Anyways, see you soon. Peace out.